Test, test, test. Hello, hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Test, test. Should be good. All right, so first of all, thanks to everyone who's been following me on One Broker. My follower account has just fucking exploded in the past few days. Yeah, I have like 62 followers right now. I have to say though, if you guys are following me on One Broker, a lot of you guys are getting like forcefully unfollowed because you're positioning too high. So like, you know, if you're familiar with my trade style, I don't lump any of my positions into one buy or sell, you know, short or long. I like to scale in and scale out. So I'll take profit as it approaches my destination, and I'll add as it starts to move in the direction that I'm looking for. So like if you see me with like 25 positions open or something like that, that's not uncommon. But you know, if you want to get in on all those trades, make sure you don't use more than like 3 to 4% of your stack. So for example, you know, if you have, you know, 1 Bitcoin, only allocate like maybe, you know, 0.02 or whatever, 0.2, whatever you want to do, but don't make it any larger than that, because the moment I use up all your capital, if for whatever reason it just makes you unfollow me. So if you want to avoid that, just make sure you don't over position size, and we'll all have a good time. But yeah, so far so good. I'm up 1,200, 1,200. Since June 11th, I'm up 1,268.9%. So can't really fucking complain about that. Not too bad, not too shabby for the equities, guys. I mean, when you're trading on 15x leverage, it adds up pretty quick. Okay, I think did I have anything else to say about that, or was that it? Okay, yeah, let's start talking about the market. So first of all, let's look at the S&P. Not looking too hot right now. It just broke out of a rising wedge sort of thing. There is an argument to be made that like maybe you can redraw this a couple of times, but it doesn't look the best right now. And whoops. It doesn't look the best right now. So this could see, you know, we could see a red week this week, which means if you're, you know, if you're shorting, then, you know, cool. If you're long, then just be careful. But we do see divergence on the SMI leading into this rising wedge breakout. So that's not the best thing to be looking for. But if it does break down, we'll be looking at like 122. We're looking for something down here, you know, in the 2600s. So wouldn't be the best thing in the world. But this, you know, this is all tentative. Like it could morph into something else. It could morph into like a channel very easily. But for right now, not looking the best. And like you can even redraw the wedge to something like this. So there's a lot of different ways to look at this. I'm still kind of getting the feel of how to properly draw stock patterns, because the gaps really fuck. You have to like look at it because the market does have hours, it gaps, and so you see things like this. So we don't see continuous candles, and sometimes it's hard to get all the information, and you kind of have to interpolate. So sometimes you miss some information. But moving right along, if we go to the Dow Jones, not looking the best. It lost support on the cloud, fell right through the Kumo twist. Looks like it's going to come down for a test of the 200 EMA. And if we look at something like on the higher time frame, like the 1 week maybe, what the hell? The 1 week, we do see that we're squeezing, so we're kind of still consolidating, but we broke down below the midline, so that's not looking too hot either. You know, got to be careful here. On the daily, I think we're diverging. Yeah, so we saw some divergence here. It played out, and now we're breaking down to the bottom for the Dow Jones. So just be careful out there if you're going long. Sometimes the market overreacts to the shit that's going on, and we'll talk about some of those good picks here in a second. Also, we'll talk about silver, since that's been a meme on Twitter lately. Still currently testing this triangle. I'm not looking to go long on silver for a while. I'm not touching a silver long until I see something finding support right around here on the preliminary support line. So that would be, 18.5-ish. If it manages to find support there, then I'll be looking to throw a nice chunk of change there for a long-term hold. But this could very easily do another shakeout, and I don't want to have my capital tied up in that. Just annoying. One more thing to think about. Okay, so let's talk about some stocks. Right now is a really great time to be trading. So let's look at, well, I'll just walk through all my charts, because right now there's so many things that are like beautiful setups, and I just like finding a good stock trade right now is like, I've been talking to people in my Discord about this, but right now in the stock market, this is the equivalent of the parabolic run up in crypto last year. Like, there are just so many good, easy setups in the equities markets, and as long as you're not greedy and you take profit early, like, these are going to be really easy, nice plays for nice profit. As you can see on my one broker account, in 2 weeks, I'm up 1,200% or something stupid like that. So I'll just walk through all my charts that I have here, and ones that I'm keeping an eye on. So GoPro, if we look at right now, it doesn't look that strong at face value, but if we look a little closer, we'll find some really nice confluence of bullish sentiment here. So if we look at the weekly B bands, for example, right, we see that we're coming up out of a squeeze, which usually means it's a forecast for increased volatility, right? And in this case, we're going up, so that's likely for an upward continuation. But if we look at the daily cloud, we see a really nice setup here. So let's talk about this. If you're following me on one broker, you'll know that like I've been going in and out of long positions on GoPro, but overall, I'm very bullish on it. So right now we found resistance. Let me move my mic. Found resistance. So this is the 200 EMA. 200 EMA. Here's the 50. We're finding resistance on it, which is to be expected. We've tested it. We've pseudo tested it like one time. Here's our second time testing it, and it got slapped down, which is to be expected. But it's looking very bullish overall. Let me adjust this so we can see everything. Okay, so let's talk about this chart setup, because this is one of my favorite plays to make on a macro chart. So just looking at the Ichimoku cloud, we see the Chiku span is through the cloud. Okay, check. So let's walk through the anatomy here. Chiku, check. It's trending upward. It's through the cloud. It's above the price. This is the best you could ask for a bull market on the Chiku span. Check. The Tenkan and the Kijun are trending upward. Let's just lump these together. Tenkan and Kijun are trending upward. The Tenkan is above the Kijun. It's above the cloud, and this gets a big fat check here as well. Okay, and last but not least, the price is trending above. Overall, price is trending above the cloud. We see a nice green Kumo here. We're really just testing support of the Tenkan. Might see a test of the Kijun, which would be great, because that would set us up for this really nice big ass inverted head and shoulders here. So this would be, the breakout, and this would be the throwback right here, which would lead for a nice test of the Kijun. So I'm not looking to go long on this thing until I see reasonable buying step in. We do see volume stepping in here, which is nice, but I'm looking to get more. I'm looking to get a better entry right around here, somewhere on the neckline, and that's where I really think we're gonna get some sponsorship by the CO, and we're gonna see a large increase in volume. Like, it's gonna pick up big time. So GoPro is on the back burner right now. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Jesus Christ. Some Mormons came to my door. My dog lost her shit. Fuck, man. Apparently Mormons are still going door to door. Anyway, GoPro on the macro scale is looking really good. I'm not looking to go long for a while, so just keeping an eye out for a long entry on GoPro. Sorry about that. I'm sure that was fucking loud. It was loud to me, and I have isolation headphones on right now. So, yeah, and as someone's mentioning in the chat, there's a one-day B-Bands M-Top, which again has a price target of this midline here. So we see the M, the boom, right? The lower high, what's outside the Bollinger Bands. We see the curving. So there's almost definitely going to be a better entry for a long position. So just keep an eye out for that. Okay, so moving right along. This is one that I've been like low-key playing. I haven't been talking about it, but this is a really great setup as well. So this is Cisco Systems, CSCO. There's a big ass head and shoulders here. And you can see it gap down right below the neckline. So we got a head, shoulder, head, shoulder, and we gap down, and now we're below the neckline here. I'm debating if I want to take partial profit here because I do think we're going to see a throwback because of this gap. So I might be doing that sometime after the stream, but currently I'm short. I got short in here somewhere. I forget the exact price, but somewhere in there. Yeah, it had a really nice open. So Cisco is one that I'm looking at, and if we look at like the higher time frames, you know, maybe like the 4 hour or something, it does show signs of distribution. So you know, sign of weakness here, and then obviously this big ass head and shoulders doesn't look too great. And the price target on this guy, so about 380. You know, it's just getting started, so it's probably going to go down to the high 30s. It's most likely where it's going to visit, and that's Cisco. So plenty of meat on that bone to chew on. I'm currently short, looking to add, might take profit. It's up in the air right now. Okay, next one that I'm really excited about is actually Facebook. All of FANG, for those of you who aren't familiar, there are a couple of different ways to abbreviate FANG. So FANG. Oops, let's make this smaller. So you might see people referencing the index FANG sometimes, like that. Sometimes it just has one A, but this is, you know, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, oops, Netflix, and Google, right? All of these look like they're poised to really just shit the bed, and we'll walk through all the FANG stock right now as we get there. So right now we're on Facebook, and we see this nice rising wedge, nice rising wedge that broke out to the bottom, right? So we see the SMI is diverging. Not a whole lot of volume on this breakout. I mean, it's okay. But I think we're gonna get a throwback to this wedge to retest it, and I'll be looking to go short when it throws back. But right now it's not like crazy volume that's like, oh, you need to enter now. I think there's gonna be a better entry for Facebook, and if we look even, you know, on the higher time frames like the daily, it does show signs of distribution, right? Like we see a shakeout here, leading upward. So this would be like your sign of weakness, for example. It's heading upward and not looking the best on the SMI. And as we look to the Bollinger Bands, I want to say there's like a weekly M top, something going on, maybe 2 week on top. I don't know, too many stocks. Oh, there's a nice gravestone there though. But yeah, so just keeping an eye on Facebook for right now. Nothing actionable in my opinion right now, but yeah, definitely keeping an eye out for that rising wedge because it could be a really sweet short entry. Okay, now let's go over to NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been really profitable for me lately. And let's look at the 4 hour. So if you listen to last week's stream, I talked about how NVIDIA has been kind of throwing me for a loop because I wasn't sure if it was reaccumulation or distribution. And now I'm pretty set that it's distribution. And I think that the proper trading range to look at this thing is this this pink thing, where it's, you know, trending upward. And you know, I'll walk through the anatomy of this thing. So we see the buying climax, you see the automatic reaction, secondary tests. These are both secondary tests. And we see the sign of weakness. Okay, this is the first sign that distribution is taking place, because we see as the price goes, let's make this black. As the price goes down, volume is swelling, and as the price goes up, volume is contracting. And one thing that's kind of a nice giveaway is this setup right here, where we see the second high on significantly decreased volume. Okay, and as we look outward to much higher time frames like the 2-week, I've been loving these 2-week B-band setups. We see a 2-week M-top sort of dealio setting up here. So I'm currently short on NVIDIA. I took heavy profit this morning because it had a nice red move downward, but I'm looking to add to it. I'm looking for a bounce. If we look closer, we see it's playing some fibs, and it just hit this little channel thing, and I'll show you what this is. So it's been in this ascending channel. You see these light gray lines here, and we just pinged off the bottom of this. So I think we're gonna get a little bounce, maybe fill this gap, and then I'll be adding heavily on this retest here. I'll be adding heavy to my short, and I think ultimately it's most likely gonna make this head and shoulders sort of thing. Stocks have been head and shouldersing all over the place, but currently I closed 4/5 of my position here, and gonna let, you know, just one little chunk ride, but took really nice profit. I think out of the 4/5, all 4 of them were triple-digit profit. So if you were following on that trade, then you were pretty happy on that one. All right, so a question in here. Hi Schmidt, what is the max trades per day that you recommend for copying you? And that's up to you. Depends on how much money you want to make. Sorry, that was kind of douchey. Sorry, I'm serious answer. I mean, like I said, like at any time I can have 25 positions. So if you want to catch all of them, I would say 25, max it out. But it's totally up to you, you know. All right, let's moving right along. What's next? Let's look at Google. Goog. So Google is showing signs of distribution as well, and this is I'm going to talk about this setup. I'm really fucking bummed that I missed this short, because I was eyeballing the shit out of this earlier. I might not have missed it. We'll see. Okay, this looks, if you're familiar with what some of the other stocks I've been charting for a while, like this looks just like Lockheed Martin stock before it crashed. Okay, so this is a classic triple top setup. Okay, we see the sign of weakness here. Again, another sign of weakness as the volume gets rejected, and it's in this little channel. It looks kind of like a wedge, arguably, but you know, it's not seeing the best volume off the reaction. So maybe it retests here, maybe it sees a test up here for an up thrust, but overall this thing's in distribution. I feel pretty confident in saying that this is in distribution. So I'm not short, but I'm looking to short heavy on it, because if we look at this thing on the weekly, this is at the top of a parabolic run up. So here's the trading range, and you know, it would have something like a $600 price target, like a very deep retracement. And if we look at the Bollinger Bands, we see 3 pushes to a high. So if you follow me on Twitter, then you know that I was talking to John Bollinger about this setup, and it's looking better today for sure. The weekly opened red. The weekly finished last week with a hammer, or an inverted hammer. And we see a really nice setup, not perfect, but it's pretty fucking good. So 3 pushes to a high at the top of a parabolic run up in a distribution trading range. That's a win-win-win. So I'm, you know, like I said, I'm looking to short the shit out of this. And let me show you this too. Let's compare and contrast here. So here's Google. Here's Lockheed Martin stock. Okay, we're somewhere over here for Google. Where is it? Okay, so look at the triple top. So we see the preliminary supply, and then boom, triple top, and here's the third peak. Look, preliminary supply, boom, boom. Here's the peak. So we're somewhere in here for Google. We could see a push out, but the 3 pushes to a high setup, not looking too hot. I'm leaning more toward it actually being the peak than it being, you know, some sort of upthrust dealio. But again, I'm looking to go short on Google, which is kind of controversial because people are always saying don't short tech stock, but fuck that and fuck you. Just play the charts. Don't be scared of what you're playing. Just play the charts. I'm not going to give into your fear mongering. Twitter. Let's talk about Twitter. So Twitter is looking super promising. Just to follow up from where we were last week, you know, these are weekly candles. This is a humongous accumulation trading range that happened since 2016. So for 2 years of accumulation for Twitter, this thing's going to have a fucking crazy run up. I'm quite sure of it. So here's the breakout of the trading range. I'm looking to go long on Twitter, possibly on a retest of this midline for the weekly Bollinger Bands. It's a logical spot to go long. I don't feel comfortable longing here, especially given the state of like the S&P and the Dow Jones. So, you know, most likely it'll end up being a retest of the support by the time this thing actually gets up here, you know, like this. But yeah, I'm looking to go long on this weekly B bands. Keeping an eye on this for a macro trade, but it looks really great. Let's talk about Netflix. Netflix is fucking crazy right now. So Netflix is full-blown parabolic run up. Look at this shit. Okay, this is the equivalent of like where Bitcoin was back in October or November. I don't think the parabolic run up for Netflix is done. I think it's going to go even more irrationally parabolic, maybe to like 440. So I'm actually looking to go long. Even though I had a stiff retracement here, I'm actually looking to take a long position because I think it'll be a nice, you know, nice chunk of change to play. So if you follow me on One Broker, you saw that I opened a big position today and then I closed it already. It's because I'm watching this these parabolic, you know, basically like if you linearize a parabolic curve. I longed right on this parabolic, and we broke through, so I'm actually looking to long on this fib, this 38, which has a nice confluence on this trend line here. So here's the trend line here, boom, all the way up here, and I'm looking to go long here. So that's Netflix. So there's the N in FANG, and now let's go to the other A in FANG, which is currently crapping itself. So let's go to the daily on Apple. I've been talking about shorting Apple for weeks now because it's in distribution, just like all the other FANG stock. Okay, so here's your preliminary supply. Here's your buying climax, your sign of weakness. Look at this nice injection of volume, right? We see it peaking. As it rallies, it contracts. And right now we see here's the up thrust, and we're testing from the downside the secondary test. And if we zoom out, we see a nice trend line, something like this, something like that, where we can call this the demand line. If you're a YCoffean, this is the demand line. And somewhere up here, there's a supply line, you know, something like that. But we don't care about that. I suspect once this thing pops and it breaks through this supply line, or I'm sorry, this demand line, it's really going to fall hard. I think Apple is poised for a pretty large dump. And if we look at like the weekly, I want to say this has a B-Bands M top as well, maybe the 2 week, I forget, but no, maybe not. Okay, but it is in distribution. Oh, nice. Right as I fucking said that, it dropped. Okay, cool. So yeah, if you're following me on one broker, we're sitting pretty fat on a short there. So that's up what? Since this morning, it's up 10%. Can't complain about that. But yeah, I'm expecting this thing to fall pretty hard. And it looks like it's just getting started. So there's the other A and FANG. I haven't looked at Amazon yet, but let's talk about Tesla, because I'm really excited about Tesla. Tesla is, everyone keeps saying, oh, Tesla's dead. You know, they're like everyone's trying to, apparently Tesla is like far and wide the most shorted stock right now. And it has just been eating people alive. It's because people don't know how to learn Wyckoff accumulation and distribution analysis. So they're getting their fucking taints handed to them right now. And right now it is doing what we call a BUEC. If you saw my tweet, I think it was like earlier last week or maybe even 2 weeks ago, I talked about how this is going to be the top and it's going to do a BUEC and it's going to retrace 38 to 50%, right? Well, right now it's testing, you know, this high, and I've got very heavy buys scattered right in here. Currently long on it because I'm scaling in, but yeah, this is, you know, if we call this the jump across the creek, this is the back up to the edge of the creek where, you know, this is the wavy line of resistance and it retraces and it looks perfect, right? We see the injection of volume coming out of the spring. We see volume starting to contract a little bit, and it's going down to the 38 and the 50. This is what we want to see. If it starts going down to the 61, that's showing an excess of supply, and that might be time to bail. But 50 to 38 is like that's like perfect entry for this BUEC. And you know, keep in mind these are daily candles. So if this does, like, look how long this thing's been in reaccumulation. It's been in reaccumulation since over a year. Okay, so this thing's gonna have a fucking crazy run up. So I'm looking to get really heavy long on Tesla stock. And yeah, just sitting back and waiting for my buys to fill, basically. Oh, someone's saying 3-day M top on Apple. Is there? Is this? I need to start annotating this shit. No, it's not an M top. It's not an, no, this is not an M top. Oh wait, sorry, I saw Alphabet. My bad. Let me go back. This is Google. There's too many goddamn stocks out there, guys. Where do I have my Apple? Apple, Alphabet. Here. Oh, it's on this window. Okay. 3-day M top. 3-day. I don't love this setup. I see the argument, but I don't love this setup. I like my M tops to be a little bit more M shaped. This is kind of like a horizontal with a lump. But yeah, I mean, it could be. It's breaking through the midline right now. But yeah, I don't love this setup. It's not my favorite in the world. Wait, what the fuck? What else do I have here? We can talk about Intel. So Intel is very similar to Facebook right now, in that It's in this giant rising wedge. Really sad I closed my short because I had a fat fucking short right up here, and it made me a nice chunk of change. I thought it was gonna see a bounce, but it didn't. I thought it was gonna see. Well, I shouldn't complain because, you know, profit is profit, but and if, you know, if this would have heavily reversed, I'd be bitching the other way, like, oh, I shorted too hard. But yeah, it is playing out this rising wedge. So basically a $10 move. Still a lot of meat on this bone too. It's probably gonna go down to like 46. So I'll be looking for a bounce, maybe a retest of this and fill in this gap, and I'll go short on this. But right now, I don't feel comfortable shorting Intel. If you're short already, sweet, you got in. You're in a good position. But if you're not short yet, I don't quite feel comfortable setting it up, or with this setup rather. What else? Oh, let's look at Amazon, so we can complete the fucking fang of death. Oh look, fucking distribution. How did I know it? I haven't even looked at an Amazon stock. This looks just like Apple, right? Yeah, this looks just like Apple. So here's Amazon, here's Apple. Yikes. Yeah, this isn't looking too hot for Amazon. So I'll be looking to take a short position on this as well. I'll have to label this up. I haven't actually properly charted this yet, but Amazon does not look too hot right now. Looks like a... Actually, you know what Amazon looks like? Amazon looks like Netflix. Where's Netflix? Where you at, bitch? All right, Amazon looks like Netflix. So, well, I need to chart this, but it looks like at face value it looks like distribution because we see heavy supply here, heavy supply here. Although volume is expanding on the way up. So yeah, I'll have to chart this and do a separate analysis for it. I haven't really done a whole lot of that yet. Oh, Tony wanted to see Tony wanted to see Walmart. Let's look at Walmart. We'll make this like my catch-all window. Walmart. Okay, so daily. Dude, this looks just like I have an example that this looks just like. Let me see if I can find it. This looks like a reaccumulation trading range example that I've seen before. Yeah. This looks like, not exactly, but it does have the resemblance of this thing. Move, bitch. Get over there. Okay. So we see this. And this. This looks very similar. So if I had to guess, if you were going to draw a parallel, I'd guess it was somewhere in here. Don't know if it's necessarily actionable just yet. Not for me anyway. It is kind of shaping out like a weird head and inverted head and shoulders here. Like something like that. But if you're looking at the daily SMI, this looks really similar to this. I'll have to look more into this because this looks really similar to this historic example here. Stop. Jesus. So Tony, I don't know if you've seen this, but definitely look into this example here. This looks really similar. Really similar, actually. It does look like it's in an accumulation trading range, though. I'll give you that. Like a really low time frame one, but I don't know if this isn't for me. It's not personally actionable, but everyone's got their own trade strategy. Check the 2-week Bollinger Band M top on Microsoft. What's the ticker? Microsoft. I don't see a 2-week M top on Microsoft. I don't really see a whole lot. I do see that Microsoft. Jesus, dude. The entire stock market looks like it's in distribution right now. This looks like distribution. Straight up. This looks just like Amazon stock. You see the swell of volume on the lows. Actually, this kind of looks like I need to look more into this, but this looks a lot like supply absorption, because we see that it's going down, so someone is taking profit here. We do see that it's coming back into the trading range, which isn't the best thing. We do see get out of here. I can't believe I did that. Get out of here. So we see higher lows, which is good. We see the supply is getting absorbed, which is good. On the push out of this low, we do see slightly expanding volume, which is good as well. And now it looks like we're retesting the breakout. This could be a reaccumulation, actually. This looks like a potential reaccumulation trading range. This might be one to keep an eye on. Does one broker trade Microsoft? Okay. You guys have any other stocks you guys want to look at? Like, please just keep it like major stocks, not like these hyper volatile ones like Dropbox. I'm not even thinking about trading Dropbox. That just sounds like you're looking to get fucked. Oh, Boeing. Yeah, let's talk about Boeing. So, another stock that I'm sad that I fucking got out of. I'm still trying to get the feel for how these stocks move. Because, you know, I've primarily traded crypto. And although I've been really profitable with the stocks, I haven't quite nailed down the dynamics of how the market likes to move. And like, that just takes some time. But once I iron it out, it's gonna be really nice. Like I've totally been expecting a bounce here, right? We see like diminishing volume on the way down, got heavy divergence here. It gapped, never retested. So I have a feeling this thing's gonna bounce moderately well. You know, I closed my short, I think it was on Friday, I closed my short right here, which proved to not be the best idea. But I didn't feel comfortable waiting for the market open because I thought this was going to gap up. However, if you're still short, good for you. You had a little bit more patience than I did. The target overall for a short, if you shorted up here, would be 317-ish, somewhere down here. So it has about 10 bucks of movement left, and you can see on the daily, like the volume is just kind of withering away. So I think it's kind of running on fumes, and it needs to maybe bounce. And if we look at something like the the volume, we've kind of broken down through here. So I think maybe we bounce, get a last point of supply, and then just kind of come plummeting down to earth, so to speak. Exit target for Boeing. If you're short up here, like I shorted like 365 or something like that. If you're short from up there, the target is like way far away. Because this is a 2-week M top. 2-week M top on the Bollinger Bands. Target is like down here in the 200s. Obviously, it's got to come down to test this 316, which just so happens to be the bottom of our trading range. But where it comes here, wherever it bounces after this, I'm looking to short the living shit out of Boeing. Man, see, that's the problem, is like, this is what I'm saying, is that, like, how many times have you heard me today say, I'm going to short the living shit out of this? It's like, man, there's so many good plays that, this is why I closed my Boeing shorts, because I'm literally, juggling between, like, do I want to make 100% profit on this, or do I want to close this and go over to something else and make 200% profit and just juggle my capital around? So far, it's working well, so I can't really complain too much. But, going back and forth between like Boeing, Nvidia, like closing them out as they hit these lulls, like you can see, damn, Nvidia kept going. Everything's going. I guess I got to check the index. I guess the index is pulling back, huh? Yeah, still going down. But, this is the juggle right now, is that you're basically like, okay, you find the overall, this is like if you take anything away from this stream, it's this, okay? Find the direction the market is going. Once you've determined and you have high confidence in the direction the market is going, only trade in that direction, okay? Say, for example, you've identified a really nice distribution like Boeing, okay? Don't even think about taking a long on Boeing. Okay, only look for short entries. The only time you go long is when you're covering your short. Okay, that's a good way to keep profit, increase your risk to reward, decrease the total risk, increase your total reward. And like for example, right? Like rather than flipping long when I close my short here, I'm just waiting for my next short entry. I'm not going to try to counter trade this, because my capital is best spent elsewhere. So while Boeing figures its shit out and makes these like 5 to 10% moves, I'm going to throw my money at Nvidia. And while that's figuring its shit out, I'm going to throw my money at Cisco. And while that's figuring it out, I'm going to throw my money at Apple. So it's this constant juggling between stocks. While one consolidates, you take your capital out of that one and you throw it at another one. Then while that one consolidates, you just bounce, get around. And if you've identified the direction of all these stocks, you know what to look for. You're not just like throwing a handful of darts at a dartboard and hoping to hit a bullseye. It's like, no, you've got 1,000 dartboards and 1,000 fucking darts, and you're like, I just need to hit the dartboard. That's all I got to do. You don't have to hit the bullseye, just hit the damn dartboard. And right now, this is what the stock market's given us. It's like, this is a gift, guys. This is a fucking gift. And this brings me my overall rant is, I'm really glad I found one broker, because you see a lot of traders on there that are fucking talking some mad game on Twitter, and they suck dick at trading. Like, I'm not going to call anyone out, but like, you can see horrific trades that are going on, and you can, one thing that's really nice about one broker is that you can see start to finish someone's methodology behind entering and exiting a trade. And I think overall this is going to be a really great shakeout for these bad traders. Like, I encourage all of these people to get on one broker and trade, because it's gonna really sort them out. If those guys that are crushing it in the crypto markets, if they can't make good trades in the equities markets, I think they're lying about their crypto trades. And if they are profiting on crypto, it's because they're lucky. Okay, these setups are so easy, and if you're not like crushing these markets right now, I'm not saying that everyone should, like that everyone who's watching the stream should be doing well. But what I am saying is, people, if you have 100,000 followers on Twitter and you aren't, if you're not green right now in the stock market trading, what are you doing? Like, how is that possible? It's there. I just identified 20 different trades that are just like screaming like, this is the profitable trade, take it. And still people are red. I don't know. Like, maybe it's poor risk management, it's poor trade strategy, it's poor risk to reward identification. I don't know. But I think this one broker is really great, because it gives you an insight as to what these traders are thinking. Anyway, that was my rant. If you guys like my sort of analysis, and you like these videos, like, subscribe, share it. That's one free way to support the stream. The other way is that you can go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com and you can participate in these discussions that I have with all my fellow traders in my trading group. We're absolutely crushing it. Clearly, it's not just me that's making these trades. It's everyone in my trading group. We're all doing really, really well, because we have a lot of eyes in the market. If I'm going through 25 different stocks and we're trying to find the optimal entry, it's like, yeah, well, can you keep an eye on all of them? Sometimes, but sometimes it helps to have 100 people looking at stocks. You can be like, oh, Boeing's moving. Boeing found support. Boeing's finding resistance. Microsoft's moving. This could be a great entry. And so, as a hive mind, we can come together and really attack the stock market head on. And we're all doing really well. So if you'd like to participate in that discussion, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com and sign up there. Join today. Oh, the stream actually hit its 1 year anniversary, by the way. I think I started streaming 1 year ago today. So happy anniversary, guys. You should go out to a nice seafood dinner and I'll never call you again. What do you guys think? I think I'm actually going to offer a discount code soon for the 1 year anniversary. I got to figure out how I want to execute it, but feels like the January alt boom. Yeah, dude, I totally agree. But what's really nice is that the stocks are being profitable, being shorted. So as the stock market goes down, you're not counter trend trading. You're just like going with the trend, and it's really nice. Great, Wyckoff. Thank you. What's really, really well though, is everyone making profit in your group or just a few? I've been thinking about joining. I definitely can't speak to everyone in the group, but I would hope if you're trading stocks right now and you're in my group and that you'd be in the green. I don't know how you wouldn't be, honestly, but I can't speak to that sort of thing. Have you entered in any crypto positions recently? Yeah, I did. I took a long on Bitcoin. I went on BitMEX and I longed Bitcoin at like 5,900, like 5,912. So over the weekend, I made like 50% on that. So that was a good little scalp. Anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and wrap this up. I feel like that was a really productive stream. Oh, nice. Did my long on Tesla hit? Yeah, one of my longs on Tesla hit. Sweet. Right on my BUEC line. So one of them hit. I got another one down here, and I'm going to start scaling in. So if you're following me on one broker, you're going to see these Tesla buys just start kicking in here soon. Oh, also, let me reiterate this. If you're following me on one broker, don't over position size yourself because you're going to get stuck. You're going to get kicked out of the trades. So don't risk more than 3 to 4% on your trades. Otherwise, you're going to automatically be kicked out of the trade once I start making trades, because I make like 25 of them at any given time. Right now, it's pretty low. I have 11 trades open right now. But like on Friday, for example, I had like 20 to 25 open. Just so, you know, if you want to get in on all the trades, you know, be smart about it. Don't get greedy, because you're going to get kicked out and then you're not going to be able to take the actual profit that you're looking for. But all right, that's all I got for you guys. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. When's the next Bitcoin stream? I don't know. To be honest with you, like Bitcoin has just been a clusterfuck lately, and I haven't seen anything worth talking about. Nothing that warrants a stream anyway. So, but yeah, let's wrap this up. Again, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com, sign up, and maybe I'll get a coupon, a promo code going this week, so we can get more people trading stocks. Because man, the stock market is ripe for the pickings, and I'd like to see everyone profiting. So yeah, go to bitcoinschmitcoin.com, sign up, like, subscribe, share these videos, and I'll do another one. Try to do another one on Monday. And yeah, you guys have a great rest of your day, and don't stare at the charts too long. Bye.